The member for Stirling.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. And my question is to the Treasurer. Will the Treasurer update the House on how the Morrison government is on the side of Australians who choose lower taxes and keeping more of what they earn as critical to their future? And is the Treasurer aware of any alternative higher taxing policies?
I call the Treasurer.
Well, thank you, Mr Speaker, and I thank the member for Stirling and congratulate him on an outstanding first speech. And he comes to this place having represented Australia on the battlefield with distinction, Mr Speaker. And he has a great passion for small business, and I had the opportunity to visit with him in the electorate of Stirling and talk to small businesses. And we know that around 20,000 small businesses in the electorate of Stirling will be able to access the extended instant asset write-off for businesses with a turnover of up to $50 million, Mr Speaker, and it's been extended in the budget to $30,000, Mr Speaker. And around 70,000 taxpayers in the electorate of Stirling will be getting a tax cut as a result of a tax package that we on this side of the parliament passed through the House, Mr Speaker. And around 70,000 people in Stirling will be the beneficiaries. And I can inform the House that 4.5 million Australians have put in their tax forms for the 18-19 year, Mr Speaker, and the Australian Tax Office has provided over $6 billion worth of refunds. Now, that's money that is spent at local cafes and local shopping strips with local tradies, Mr Speaker. Now, the Australian people were given a clear choice at the last election. They could have voted for those opposite with $387 billion of high taxes, but they rejected it, Mr Speaker, and they voted in favour of a coalition government, the Morrison government, that is in support of lower taxes for millions of Australians, Mr Speaker. And we're abolishing a whole tax bracket, we're lifting the threshold of the 19 cents in the dollar tax bracket, and we're lowering the rate, creating one major tax bracket between $45,000 and $200,000, where the rate will be 30 cents in the dollar, Mr Speaker. And that is where the bulk of Australian taxpayers will be, and it will tackle bracket creep, Mr Speaker. So if you get another job, or you get a promotion, or you do some overtime, Mr Speaker, you won't necessarily pay a higher marginal rate of tax. And it goes back to the values that we stand for on this side of the House. We want Australians to earn more and to keep more of what they earn, Mr Speaker. We believe in the aspiration of hard-working Australians, a term that mystifies the member for Sydney, Mr Speaker. We understand aspiration, and we are delivering benefits to those Australians who have aspiration, Mr Speaker. And it was a very clear choice at the last election. The Australian people could have voted for the superannuation tax put forward by the Labor Party, the retirees tax, the housing tax, the tax on family businesses, the tax on hard-working Australians, or they could have voted for tax cuts. They voted for our tax cuts, and now we're delivering them.
Time.